I recently participated in an academic conference in Xi'an, a city full of historical depth, beneath the culturally rich Chang'an city wall. This challenge is very interesting. The primary goal tonight is the strong sense that learning knows no bounds. It appears everyone is ready to charge ahead. Colleagues, have you felt the pressure of papers recently? Let's publish together in academia. We should complete a GBD database paper. Today, we challenge ourselves to write one GBD paper in a week. First task, define the target document and journal. Recently, GBD has encountered challenges in data mining. After a few rounds, everyone is getting more acquainted with this promising GBD database. Although many have recently rushed to download data, the queue times have been long, especially during Lobo data downloads. Despite some issues, it must be acknowledged that this is the best way for us to access articles. The GBD database has two main aspects: description and analysis. Description involves the time, space, and population distribution of diseases.